2 on a Monday. This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. In 15 minutes, I will have breaking news. I've made a personal life choice that needs to be discussed at some length.
I'm very excited for this discussion.
You're very excited.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will relate to it.
All right. Because I never treat people bad at restaurants. I don't protest.
I don't go on Yelp.
I don't do Yelp reviews. I'm not going to hurt restaurant employees. Not even like with a burner account. Not even like not hiding. But I made a decision yesterday, and I may be wrong. And if I'm wrong, let's do one of those stupid polls. Other shows do every day. We do like twice a year. I'm going to have a poll. I'll tell you in 10 minutes. And the audience can react to my madness. All right, that's Joy Taylor's voice you're hearing. All right, every Monday, there are a lot of shows have opinions, and we do too. And I think we need to be held accountable when I whiff on stuff. And so we call it Colin Right, Colin Wrong. Here we go on a Monday.
Where Colin was right.
I've been saying for 20 years, if you listen to this show, that the NBA is not necessarily controlled by players. It's controlled by shoe companies and agents. And LeBron and Anthony Davis were going to swap numbers. And then LeBron was told you can't do that. By who? Nike. So the commissioner, Adam Silver, walks on eggshells around LeBron. Nike doesn't. They said, LeBron, you're not swapping that number. We lose tens of millions of dollars. You're not doing that, even after they'd announce it. Been saying this. Everybody says basketball players play in the Olympics because of patriotism. That's certainly part of it. You know who else tells them to play in the Olympics? Shoe companies. You know who tells them to go visit China in the offseason? Shoe companies. I'm paying the $30 million a year to wear my shoes. Minimum. You're going to play here, you're going to go there, and you're not swapping numbers. Shoe companies and agents have massive control. It's not a bad thing, by the way. It's just, listen, it's the culture of basketball. I'm not complaining, but here it was on display again this weekend. The number swap got turned down by Nike.
Where Colin was wrong.
I don't know Rob Pelinka, but I've banged on him a lot. I got to be honest. It's very easy for me to sit up here and bring out the anvil on the Lakers in the last year because they've been dysfunctional. But I will say this. You can't blame Rob Pelinka because they didn't land Kawhi Leonard. They actually did a pretty good job. They got a bunch of guys who can shoot. My complaint for the last year is if you have LeBron James, surround him with shooters. He's really good with shooters. Danny Green they got. Quinn Cook they got. Avery Bradley they got. They threw in Boogie Cousins. Don't love the Rondo signing. Just going to say that right out front. But all told, the Lakers are interesting. They're talented. And they did the bench. It's pretty good. It's not a terrible bench. It's a little older. But Kuzma's young. Quinn Cook is young. Avery Bradley still got some legs left. All told, Vegas agrees. Lakers roster, I don't think it's as chemistry-wise the fit the Clippers is. But Rob Pelinka deserves some credit here. He found cap space. We didn't think he would do that. He found shooters and tip of the cap.
Where Colin was right.
Well, Westbrook's reign's over in Oklahoma City. I didn't think he'd end his career there. I've always felt more than most people. A lot of empty numbers and stats and a very rigid playing style. But in the end, more than anything, I think what last week signified is once again Paul George, another star player, says publicly they love him, but he was conspiring to leave. Maybe that's Oklahoma City and Los Angeles, but it sounded like all the stories I read, it was Paul. And the evidence proves that a lot of his numbers are kind of empty. Triple-double sounds great. But it can at times be a very empty stat.
Where Colin was wrong.
Listen, like the rest of saying Chris is difficult. And listen, Chris had to understand when he went into Houston, it's James Harden's city. It's his offense. It's his team. It's his coach. You were a visitor. My first year when I worked at Fox, I was a visitor. I may have been an employee, but I was surrounded by people who'd been there 15, 18, 20 years. You act accordingly. Chris walked in and kind of wanted an even... He wanted the scales of basketball justice to be even, and this is Harden's franchise, and you've got to acquiesce. And frankly, right now, Harden's a much better basketball player. Chris could have made this work. This is not on Harden. Chris could have made this work. When you're the second best player of two, it's your job to make it work. He didn't, and I have been giving Chris Paul a pass for years.
Where Colin was right?
Steph Curry came out last week to once again compliment Kevin Durant. By the way, Kevin Durant hasn't said anything nice about Steph Curry. Curry has gone out several times to say nice things about Durant. This goes to my belief on Steph Curry that he is the most, and it's hard to even embrace this because it sounds crazy, he's the most underappreciated superstar of my life. Everybody loved Michael. Everybody understood Bird. Everybody liked Magic. Everybody gets LeBron. Everybody gets all these stars. Steph Curry is nearly on equal footing, and nobody wants to give him credit. Players don't love him. Does everybody understand this Warrior dynasty? They won without Kevin Durant. They recruited Durant because of Curry, and were 38-5 when Kevin Durant didn't play and Curry did. That's nothing against Kevin Durant. I think he's a very talented, at times flaky player. But Steph Curry, watching him act as Kevin Durant leaves, embodies everything I've always believed about Steph Curry. He is the soul of the last great basketball dynasty. I don't know if we'll ever have a team that dominant. We may not, but he was the soul of it.
Where Colin was wrong.
You know, I do say wide receivers are icing. Quarterbacks and offensive lines are the cake. But DeAndre Hopkins, receiver for the Texans, is the only offensive player the Madden game gave a 99 rating to. And they're generally pretty accurate. They gave Khalil Mack one, Aaron Donald one, Bobby Wagner one, and DeAndre Hopkins one. No Zeke, no Aaron Rodgers, no Russell Wilson, no Patrick Mahomes. I got to give Madden credit. He's the only guy that got a 99, and they don't hand those puppies out much. And generally, who they rate the good guys. He is a phenomenal talent. He is a phenomenal talent. He's not as flashy as OBJ. He hadn't been around doing it as long as Julio Jones. He's not as talked about as Antonio Brown. He is a filthy talent. 99 from the Madden game.
Where Colin was right?
Dak Prescott said last week, for somebody to say you can only take so much because of the salary cap, with gambling, everything going into the league, everybody's going to keep going up. I'm not taking a pay cut. I've said this about Dak. Should he take 27? You can make that argument. Will he? Absolutely not. Dak Prescott kept the Dallas Cowboys the last 3 years on television. Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday early, Fox Game of the Week. He kept every single network they were on. They were the highest rated. They weren't when Tony Romo got hurt. Don't kid yourself. The Lakers moved off TV before LeBron got to town. Just because you're a big brand, they're not going to put you on. Before Jim Harbaugh was at Michigan, the Brady Hoke years, Michigan was not on TV as much. By the way, Alabama wasn't on TV nearly as much 10 years ago pre-Saban. Dak Prescott made the Cowboys viable on TV for a 3-year stretch. He is not taking a dime less. And regardless of what I think, I don't love my quarterbacks making 33 large. I think part of the Patriots' strength, honestly, is Brady's the 15th highest paid quarterback that allows him to get 2 or 3 more players. But Brady didn't save the franchise. He took him to a cool place. Dak saved it. They didn't have a quarterback. You watched that year Romo got hurt pre-Dak. They were absolutely not television quality. So, and Dak's not taking a pay cut, made it very clear last week. All right. Okay, I think I'll break my news in about five. I'll take a break and I'll break my news. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I just don't think that's appropriate. Because I'm a sports host and I think I need to stay in the fairway, not out in the weeds. But I will spend a couple of minutes.
Well, every once in a while, you get stuck out there. It's okay.
Do we have the big font for my breaking news? Because I think this qualifies as big font breaking news. It's a personal choice. All right. And you guys can react to it how you want to react to it. I don't care if you agree or not. You can rip me if you want. Okay. I don't have any problem. That's coming up. Summer's here and you know what that means. It's barbecue season. Yes, it is barbecue season. It's grilling season. What do I grill? Pork chops, salmon. Actually, wife's better with salmon than I am. Hamburgers. I'm a hamburger guy. Well, guess what? Butcher Boss. They have grass-fed beef, organic chicken, wild-caught salmon. They work closely with the best farms and companies that want and are committed to raising animals humanely. So, ethical, no hormones ever, no antibiotics ever added.